What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the stream. Everybody that's trickling in right now, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Anybody watching the stream after the stream, thank you for taking time out of your day to spend with little old me. Got a lot going on in the world of the NBA. The Kevin Durant thing. Kevin Durant requesting a trade still. He says, no, I still need to be traded. Joe Tsai, he stands with his organization based on the tweet. Kevin Durant gave him an ultimatum: either trade me or fire Sean Marks and the coach Steve Nash. And based on what Joe Tsai said, that's probably not going to happen. But we'll dive into all that stuff. We'll do all the conversations. We'll go through the chat and the streams. Just say hi to everyone trickling in real quick. Kevin Durant is a Mary Sue. Facts. Kevin Durant is a Mary Sue. Blucka. KD isn't going anywhere. Tsai will put his foot down. KD, Kyrie, Sean Marks, Steve Nash, and Joe Tsai will be one big happy family, whether they like it or not. Joe Tsai has them all under contract. I don't doubt that. Look, so here's the thing, is that Kevin Durant, yes, he's under contract for the next 4 years, right? And so they don't have to trade him. But there's already reports that he's not showing up to training camp if he's not traded by then. And do you really, if you're Joe Tsai, and all of the mess and disaster that you've been through up until this point, do you really want to continue to go through that while you're trying to get all your teammates outside of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving? Because you got to remember, they're not the only two on the team. You're trying to get all these guys to buy in, respect the coach, show, appreciation for the organization, show pride in the organization, show that camaraderie, and end up going and playing and performing. Kevin Durant, do you really want him? Do you really want him playing 40%? Now he gets let's say he, pulls a hamstring and he's supposed to miss, say a month, but he misses 6 months because of, it makes no sense if you're Joe Tsai to keep Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. All it's going to do is just get worse. And all you're going to do is lose more and more value. They've already lost a ton of value because they decided to hold out and wait and try to, play ball, hoping Kevin Durant would turn around and come back. It makes no sense. There's no reason to keep, especially Kyrie, because Kyrie isn't staying. So you really want to lose Kyrie for nothing. And on top of losing Kyrie for nothing, you won't even have money to replace him. So it's like, how are you supposed to, if you're the Nets, you have to at least get rid of Kyrie Irving. And then you go to Kevin Durant. It's like he doesn't want to be here. He's not going to play if he doesn't show up to training camp. That's not a good sign. You're just adding more to the disaster that already exists, and that's the problem. What's going on, Rob? Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin Durant. Yes. Who does Katie think he is? Apparently, he thinks he's a guy that could demand an entire organization to be fired. Under contract doesn't mean much if the star doesn't mind losing money. Exactly. I mean, it just, he wants to go, you trade him. It's rough. Kevin Durant thinks he is Homelander, that he can do whatever he wants. Facts. You think he just looks in the mirror and says that after the meeting with Joe Tsai? He just looks at he has a picture of Homelander on his wall and just gives it a nod and just tells it thank you for your service. Salutes him. Suns back in it. I just don't see the Phoenix Suns being a valuable piece right now because they can't trade Ayton until January. And I just don't think Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges can get it done. I think the Celtics have the best package. If you get Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart and 2 firsts, that's what package are you going to get that's better than that? Seriously, and the Nets can't tank. If the Nets could tank, then yeah, there probably would be other teams that could open up and it makes more sense, but they can't. They need to get players that can keep them relevant because all of their picks are unprotected to the Houston Rockets. So they need to be as good as possible. The employee can't tell the employer what to do. Exactly. Not just that, but Joe Tsai, he's a billionaire business owner. Do you really think he's used to people telling him what you should do? No, he's the guy that's telling people what to do. I'm sure that didn't sit well. When Kevin Durant was like, oh, you're going to fire these guys or I'm gone. He's probably looking at Kevin Durant yeah, no, buddy, that's not how this is going to work. I own this team, not you, So Sports decided. I am the decider of sports. I am the fate decider of sports. The Nets can not get equal value in return for KD. You're never going to get equal value in return for KD. Like you're not. KD is one of the top 15 players of all time. So unless you're getting the top 15 player of all time, you're never going to get equal value. There's always a winner and loser in any trade, but you can get really good value. You could get more value for Kevin Durant than you would anywhere else. Nobody's ever, like when you're trading a superstar or even a star, no team is getting fair value. You're always getting pennies on the dollar for a star because he wants out. He wants traded. You have no leverage when the player wants to leave. But that doesn't mean you keep him and let him just destroy your team. At some point, you got to cut your losses and move on. At some point, you got to say, like, enough is enough. Let's move on. That's what it looks like Joe Tsai is going to do. There's still things that could develop, but as of right now, as it stands, there's really only one option right now. You trade Kevin Durant, you trade Kyrie Irving. KD, a serial sook, just don't come back to the Warriors. He should have never left the Warriors. Kevin Durant clearly is not a leader. He's not a guy that can be on a team. He's clearly not a guy that can lead a team to a championship. Like he was in the best situation with the Warriors. He didn't have to be the leader. All he had to do was just play basketball. That's it. Show up, play basketball, and you're done. And he wanted more than that, and it turned out to be a disaster. He wanted the control and the power and all that stuff. And my favorite thing is he's over there, talking about how LeBron is drama and he can understand why no one wants. What do you call this? You tried to be LeBron and you failed. You tried to do what LeBron's done successfully for the last, 10 years plus, and you just weren't good at it and you failed. And now look, regardless, this just makes Kevin Durant look terrible. Celtics package is the best return. It really is. They're actually better with JB and Smart. I actually think like if they could get a package of JB and Smart, and I imagine they get some other third player thrown in, whoever it is. Maybe it's like Grant Williams or something like that. But basically, if they can get JB and Smart, that's a really good place to be in. You'd still have Ben Simmons. If Ben Simmons can get back to being Philly Simmons, if the Pacers deal is still on the table, if I'm Brooklyn, that's what I'm asking the Lakers to do. Keep your first round picks. I don't care about picks 9 years from now. We're in a position right now where we need to win and put the best team on the table. Go trade your picks. Go get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. We're going to take Miles Turner. You get Kyrie Irving. So you land Kyrie Irving and Buddy Hield. We get Miles Turner. And now the Nets have a starting five of, Marcus Smart, let's say Seth Curry. You have Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons, and Miles Turner. That is much better than they have been. Like that's a much better team. They fit better, everything. And look, it's not like you have much to go against, right? It's you have the only thing you have is a one playoff series win and a sweep. As long as you don't get swept next season, which I don't think this team would, you're good. And this team, like if you especially if you get Miles Turner, they're basically the Boston Celtics a couple years ago. I think that would be a great position to be in. If you could flip Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving for JB, Smart, and Miles Turner, that's a good return for what the situation is. It's 7:05 a.m. Wednesday here in Sydney, Australia. Well, thank you, Wayne, for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. So early in the morning. Kyrie loves the Nets. Look, did he love being there? Yes. He just doesn't like the people that own it and run it and operate it. Doesn't like Steve Nash. He doesn't like Sean Marks, and Joe Tsai isn't going to get rid of him. So Kyrie's not going to stay. That's the thing. Even if you keep him this year, I don't see you keeping him if you trade Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant is going to get traded. So at that point, it makes zero sense to go and get a guy like, or not trade a guy like Kyrie Irving. Damn, Wayne's always up early for this content. He is. I appreciate it. I appreciate the dedication. I love it. If Joe doesn't get rid of KD after them remarks, the other owner will come together and maybe push Joe out. I've seen in all three major sports. It's a possibility. I just think Joe Tsai is not going to mess around. Look, like I said, he's a businessman. when you make a bad investment, what do? You write it off and you move on. That's what is very likely going to happen. Joe Tsai is probably looking at the situation, telling Sean Marks, just get rid of him, trade him. I mean, Joe Tsai himself said, "I'd rather have a 40-win team that I'm proud of than the team he has now." Like with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, it was a total disaster. I don't blame them for trying. I mean, every team in the league would have tried to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to their team if they could. So I don't blame them for at least trying. I don't think that they should have just given them the keys to the kingdom and done whatever they wanted. But that happens with more organizations than not, right? I mean, every team LeBron's been on, they basically run the team, stuff like that. You're seeing it more and more with star players. But it's just, it turned into a total disaster. And all you're doing is just making it worse by not just moving off of it. The conversation this entire year is not, let's assume that they keep Kyrie Irving and Buddy Hield, or Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. The entire conversation all year is not going to be about the Nets and whether they're winning or losing. It's going to be like, what's going to happen? What is it? Like, your conversation isn't about the team, isn't about the players. Let's say Seth Curry goes off for 50. No one's going to care because the media is all going to be talking about how Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are still on the team and they're unhappy. And Kevin Durant, only scored 12 points and just threw up a Hail Mary from half court showing he doesn't care and doesn't want to be. It's a mess. Cut your ties, move on, and just be done with it. At some point you got to cut your losses. You can't keep dragging this disaster and this mess on. It makes no sense. And I just think Joe Tsai is fed up with it. I think he's done with it. But that's just me. Sorry, real quick, I had to send that. What else? Kyrie to the Lakers. Yeah, I think he goes to the Lakers. I think that's just where he ends up. No other team wants him. No team is going to trade for him because they're going to be worried that he leaves. And I just think the Lakers make the most sense, only because they have LeBron James. If they didn't have LeBron James, I would say otherwise. But the fact that they have having LeBron James helps because he got the most out of Kyrie Irving. He understands Kyrie. He knows how to get him to buy in, all of that stuff. I think that added in with he wants to be in LA, with, he's a Kobe fanatic, with, he's going to have something to prove because he's going to want a contract. I think the Lakers will get the best out of Kyrie Irving, at least for a year, maybe two. Post LeBron, that'll be the question. Like, what happens with Kyrie Irving after LeBron leaves? The Nets not being able to tank is another reason to keep KD and Kyrie. But here's the thing. If KD and Kyrie just don't play, guess what? You're worse now than you would if you just did the trade. At least if you do a trade, you're going to have players are going to want to play for you. They're going to want to be there. They're going to do their best. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant aren't that team. And you were already a play-in team last year. And you had KD fully bought in. Kyrie was available for the playoffs, and you got swept. What's going to happen if Kyrie sits for the year? You don't even know if Ben Simmons is going to play. All three of these guys might not even show up. And you're going to be in a worse spot if that happens than if you just, traded them. And you're going to get good value. You're going to get something in return. JB going to go off when he's like the main guy. I think so too. And that's one of the reasons why they want to trade JB, the Celtics, because it's the same thing as DeJounte Murray. Like the Spurs, they knew he wasn't going to stay. He's not going to sign an extension because he gets more money if he takes a free agent deal. So why would he sign an extension? And he's not. Is he really going to stay there on a team that's rebuilding? So they just decided, hey, let's go full-fledged tank mode and rebuild and just trade him. It's the same thing that the Celtics are probably looking at. The Celtics are looking at it. The piece, like, just cut your ties and be done. It's the same thing. What else we got? I hope Katie doesn't get traded and has to suck at the Nets. Welcome to the real world. I know a lot of people want to see him go to like Sacramento or something like that. Look, if you're the Nets, you're trading him to the best package. Whatever the best deal is, that's the team you're trading him to. You don't care about anything else. Whatever team, like, you want to be traded, okay, fine, we'll trade you. But whatever the best package is, that's what you get. I just don't think they're going to keep him on the Nets just because if they could tank, probably, why not take a chance? Nobody getting what Jazz got for Rudy Gobert either. That was terrible. Exactly. That was way too much. Don't get me wrong. I think it did damage the market value for a lot of these guys because I think a lot of people are like, look what Rudy got. But it comes down to what people will pay for it. No other team was going to give that much up for Rudy. It's just the Timberwolves are the Timberwolves, and they believe that he's going to be the guy to change the fate of the franchise. Like, you know, trade him to a yeah. Again, it's not like you got to understand. You got to do what's best for the organization. Like I see this coming a lot, but you do. You got to do what's best for the organization from an organizational standpoint. If the if the Hornets are the best team, offer the best package, and they're like, here, we'll give you, not saying that this would happen, but let's say for whatever reason, the Hornets are like, look, we'll give you LaMelo, we'll give you, we'll give you like 10 first round picks, and let's do the deal. Like if that's the best deal on the table, you take that deal. But I just think that right now the best deal is the Celtics deal. I think he's going to go to the Celtics. I wouldn't be shocked if they're like negotiating that right now as we speak. I do think it's still going to take a little time. I do think we still have about a month before training camp, so I don't think they're going to rush it. They're going to try to get the most value that they can. The Nets have one of the best rosters in the league. Yeah, that's true, and I don't disagree with that. But if nobody shows up, how good are you? You could be Michael Jordan, but if you don't come to games and you don't show up to practice and you don't show up for training camp and you're doing everything you can to sabotage the team, your roster means nothing. KD's legacy equals zero. So yeah, I mean it is. I mean it's a pattern now. He's done the same thing every single time. Did you just tell me to shut up and dribble? LeBron was trying to copyright that, which I think was pretty funny. I think about this. KD didn't get Brooklyn out of first round. If you get Brown, Smart, White, and picks, you're still a playoff team. And with Simmons, Mills, O'Neal, TJ, you might get a second round. Think about it. I agree. I think that if you can do the Boston trade, I think that you're a first round playoff. You're probably a second round exit, but you never know. You get things to kind of fall your way. You could be. I mean, look, Dallas was in the Western Finals. You had Atlanta in the Eastern Finals 2 years ago. You get a couple things, a couple lucks of the dice. This team's good enough. This team's healthy. They all have something to prove because they want to show that they're better than just Kyrie and KD. You got Brown balling out because now he's the number one option. All of that stuff, like it's a great recipe for success. Like I said, anything could happen. You have just a luck of the dice, and all of a sudden you're in the Western or the Eastern Conference Finals or something like that, and everyone goes, "Look what happened." Does KD smile? Is he a sad clown? I think he's a sad clown. You never really see that guy smile. I think the best movie to compare Prey to is Rag, with Vin Diesel was playing the man versus Wild 50% of the movie before it became a standard movie. Yeah, it's a good comparison. You're not wrong there. Kyrie convinced KD that Boston is a terrible place. But how does he know that? You don't think Kevin Durant's looking at this situation and going, how valuable is Kyrie's word? Not just that, he was supposed to go to Boston in 2017 or 2016 or 2017, whatever year it was. Like, it was a team he was going to do. And guess what? He doesn't have a choice. Joe Tsai's going to trade for the best package he can. Like, and is Kevin Durant really going to go to another team and try to blow that team up and be a disaster? I don't see it. He already did the damage in Brooklyn. So if he just decides not to play in Brooklyn, no one's going to be shocked. But if he goes to a team like Boston that is a contender and ready to go, and he like sits out or throws a fit or something like that, it's not going to go well for him. It's not going to go well for him at all. And he's never going to go to a team that he wants to go to. He's never, like, at that point, you might as well just suck it up and play. Off topic, but I got hopes JT is a future Laker. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. A lot of people really want him to come. I mean, he loves Kobe. I think it just depends on what are the circumstances when he's a free agent, which is what, 2025, 2026, something like that. Depending on where he's at, could be a possibility. Will Kyrie go to Lakers? I personally think so. You never know. Nothing's guaranteed. And so I don't want to sit here and say like, yeah, it's 100% he's going to the Lakers. Yay, everyone, grab your stuff and, go buy your Kyrie jerseys now. But I just think that at this point, it seems inevitable. It's one of those things where it's like, if they trade Kevin Durant, what, like, they can't, you're not keeping Kyrie Irving. You're not, because you're not going to run the risk of him leaving and losing him for nothing. Secondly, you need to get value for him. Third, do you really want him to just destroy your new team that you got? You go get Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, guys like that. You really want Kyrie Irving to come in and just be a headache and that absolute mess, and he's gonna leave regardless. So it's just, yeah, I do. I think it's pretty safe to say I trade him to the Badlands. uh, is your background Russell Westbrook? It wasn't intentional, but it's funny. A lot of people have made that comparison. But yeah, hey, he's gone. He's a gun. Adam. Yeah. Great channel. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for handing out, being a part of the channel, all that stuff. I appreciate all of you. Seriously. I'm in a blessed position to be able to have fun, talk to all of you, and just enjoy all of basketball and sports. I know Joe knows basketball. Thank you for the constant updates. Very refreshing to hear positive, educated basketball thoughts. You're much appreciated. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Euphoric. Seriously, I try to give as good of a perspective as I can. I'm not always right. We all have bad takes. We all have bad thoughts. We all have bad everything. But you're always going to get honesty. You're always going to get my opinion, and you're always going to get the best take I can give. Whether we agree or disagree, that's the beauty. That's the whole point. That's why I pass the questions on to you. That's why I do these live streams where, I talk with you in the chats and stuff, because, I love to hear all sides of the equation. I like to hear, all people's perspectives, whether we agree or disagree. And it's fun to just talk basketball and just sports in general. Definitely want to start doing some football. Look out. I've done some football videos. If any of you are football fans, look out for those football videos, please. They're not doing great, which is understandable. Most of my audience is basketball related, because that's kind of where I started. But I'd like to talk about some football too. I love me some football. So just thought help you out. And while we're doing shameless plugs, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. If you're not subscribed, if you haven't liked this video, what are you doing? Hit it. My goodness, crap ton of drama in this NBA offseason. Not a good look for KD in my view. The organization has been over backwards for he and Kyrie. Yeah, I mean, this has been, from a content creator perspective, this has been fantastic. I mean, like I said, a month and a half ago, I had 250 subs, and now I'm at like almost 4,400. So, like, from a creator standpoint and somebody trying to grow their channel, this drama has been fantastic. But from a fan perspective and just the NBA in general, this is not a good look, especially for the NBA. And it does. This is a terrible painted picture of Kevin Durant. It makes him look horrible. And yeah, they did. They bent over backwards. They did everything that they could ask for and got nothing. You didn't get winning. You didn't get anything. You literally got one playoff series win. That is it. And I mean, just think about it. I mean, you had James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, you have Ben Simmons, you have all this just talent. You're going to lose all of them in a calendar year, and you didn't even, and you were a play-in team. Like, the Lakers had a terrible season. Don't get me wrong. This might be one of the worst seasons in Lakers history, but I think there's an argument the Nets are much worse. Media Day will be a blast in Brooklyn. I wouldn't be shocked if nobody even shows up to that, but it would be hilarious. I would like to see that. Yeah, it would be. I really would. I would love to see Media Day. Just like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant throwing basketballs at the camera people and stuff. You are the best. Well, thank you. Thank you. Seriously. I really do. I really appreciate that. Thank you. There was a report that the Nets plan to keep Kyrie and that Kyrie is comfortable, but I don't know how true that is. I mean, there's always going to be those reports. I mean, we've heard both sides of it regardless, right? You hear the reports, Kyrie is comfortable being there. And look, maybe Kyrie is. Maybe Kyrie wants to stay there. Maybe Kyrie loves it there. But it's not up to him at this point. I just don't see Joe Tsai and Sean Marks saying, Kyrie Irving wants me fired. I'm going to keep him around. He wants Steve Nash fired. I'm going to keep him around. Kyrie's not going to show respect to Steve Nash. He's not going to, it's going to be a disaster. If you move off of KD, you got to move off of Kyrie. Otherwise, Kyrie's just going to leave because you're not going to give him a max extension. So he's going to want to leave regardless. He's going to go to the Lakers and you get nothing and you have no money to replace him. So it's like, why, like from an organization standpoint, which Joe Tsai said he's going to do what's best for the organization. From an organizational standpoint, it makes no sense to keep Kyrie Irving because you're not going to be a contender with Kyrie and, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons might not even play. It's just, there's no point, and he's just going to leave, and you lose everything. I kind of find it funny how people are trying to package Westbrook plus AD plus other players and picks for KD and Kyrie. Lakers will turn into the Los Angeles Nets. They lose depth, and what happens if they get injured? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would happen. Two, it's kind of one of those things like if everyone can stay healthy, the Lakers are about as surefire of a they're winning at least one or two championships. And I think that that's how people are looking at it. AD has as many question marks about health as KD and Kyrie. And Westbrook isn't as good as either of them at this point in his career. So it's like, say Irving gets injured, at least you have KD and LeBron, hopefully, and they're a good enough duo. It's just, I mean, I understand it. I just don't think it would happen. And I don't think that the Lakers would want to do that, especially after the mess that happened in Brooklyn. But I'm not like completely against it. I don't think it's like if you have the opportunity to do that, I think you do it if you're the Lakers. Fans might not like it, people might not like it, but I think you look at it as like we got LeBron. LeBron has been the ultimate like leader and like person to keep everyone in line. I think that that's kind of how they're looking at it. All I will say is the next collective bargaining session is going to be a doozy. Yes, that's going to be pretty crazy. I wish I could be a fly on the wall for that because that's not going to go well at all. Lake Show, thumbs up. That's right. Hit that like button, everybody. I'd appreciate it. Kyrie Irving, KD, Irving, and Simmons, the Three Stooges. It's an excellent comparison. That's a perfect comparison. Do you think Ice Trae will be able to win a MVP? I mean, he's good enough. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I just think there's too many guys that are better than him that are going to have better seasons. I think Luka, after like the display he's had, he's the wonder boy for the media and stuff like that. I think Luka wins MVP this year. I really do. I think as long as he plays enough games and he balls out and he just plays like he's been playing, people are going to look at it as like he was just in the Western Conference Finals. Like, Luka's leading this team. I think they end up giving it to Luka. Luka will be like what LeBron was back in 2007 or whatever. Remember the 2020 ESPN saying Lakers front office was dysfunctional? Remember people saying LeBron runs the Lakers franchise? Well, look what we got here. Exactly. It's just Rob Pelinka did everything correct so far. He was patient, he was calm, he waited, and he just let the Nets fall apart. He just let them become a disaster. And now he's in great position. Brooklyn lost all leverage. At this point, it's like, if you're Rob Pelinka, you're telling Sean Marks, dude, Kyrie wants you fired. He's not going to play for you. He's just going to leave next season. Joe Tsai wants you to get rid of everybody. Like, we'll give you a first round pick. We'll give you like THT or something to throw in as a young asset that you can build with, just because you want to keep those relationships. But yeah, not just that, but look, I think a lot of people have recency bias when it comes to Rob Pelinka. Like I even was like responding to a chat earlier with somebody, and I was telling them because they were talking about Rob Pelinka and how much of a disaster he is and everything. It's like, what has he done? He put together a championship team that won the championship. The following year, he upgraded the roster, was voted by like fans, media, the league, execs as like a brilliant person. They were the favorites to win the championship. They won like most improved team of the year. Like it was all praise. The Lakers were also very likely an Anthony Davis injury away from being at least in the finals again and very likely winning it. And nobody be looking at anything other than that. And then the following year, like LeBron and Anthony Davis wanted Westbrook. LeBron and Anthony Davis wanted Melo. They wanted these guys. They wanted the veterans. LeBron's been known his whole career to want veterans over young guys. And that's what Rob Pelinka did. He said, what do you want? He had DeRozan himself said, I thought I was going to the Lakers. Like he had DeRozan, but he healed. And look what happened. LeBron and Anthony Davis went and met with Russell Westbrook and said, go get me Russell Westbrook. Like, it's just, I understand we live in a world of like, what have you done for me lately? But the Lakers organization is fine. Rob Pelinka has made good moves. This offseason was one of the worst free agency off seasons we had ever. And he got all the guys that we hoped. Like all of the projections, even like Lakers Nation did like videos like talking about guys like, oh, hopefully we can get these guys. And he got like all of them. Like he did about as good of a job. Like we weren't getting Gary Payton II. We weren't getting Otto Porter Jr. Like other than that, we got basically everybody. Like, so I think he did a fantastic job. And we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. And if the Lakers win the championship next year, everyone's going to talk about how Rob Pelinka is the greatest GM ever, and he really turned things around. And my God, what else? They always taken shots at the Lakers front office, and most of it was fair for about 10 to 12 years. But since Jeannie has seized control, they've been solid. Yeah, they have. They have been very solid. Look, there was a down period. All teams have down period, right? I mean, and you got to look at it. See, the problem is people don't look at the entire scope of things. They just look at like this narrow point of view. Like people forget, like Jeannie got thrusted into this whole thing, had to figure it out. She had her brother trying to take the franchise from her, having to go through legal battles, doing this, that, and the other. Like, it was a mess from day one. There was dysfunction because the owner died. There's always going to be a dysfunction when that happens because all the kids and everybody think that they're entitled to it becomes a mess. It's just like that with anything, right? If a family member dies, all of the other family members start coming out of the woodworks and you hear, well, I gave him $1 30 years ago. So I get at least half of this money. Like it's an extreme. Like the Lakers have been solid. They had a little down period, which all teams have. It's just we as Laker fans are accustomed to a certain standard. We're accustomed to winning. We're accustomed to, being that team that always gets the star and stuff. And it took a little bit, but guess what? We got it. We got LeBron James. We got Anthony Davis. We won a championship. Like, what more could you want? Like, everything takes patience. You're not going to win every single year. As much as fans want it to happen, it's not going to happen. No team wins every year. The last team to three-peat was the Lakers. Like, it's just, it is. Honestly, think Pelicans or Denver should go in for KD. They ain't far off from Phoenix. Why not go all in when you can? Problem is that like Denver, I think, is tough because one, Denver, they can't trade Jamal Murray because he's on a rookie extension. And then when it comes to Michael Porter Jr., who knows if he even plays? Like, he's been injured and all that stuff. He's coming off of like back surgery or whatever. So I just don't see Denver being able to trade for Kevin Durant. The Pelicans, yes, I think the Pelicans can. They have the draft picks. They have Brandon Ingram. And supposedly the Pelicans made them an offer centered around Brandon Ingram, and they rejected it. So they must not be very high on Brandon Ingram. Or they just want too much. Kyrie and KD have played 44 games together in a span of 3 years. I believe next year won't change anything. Trade them both. Exactly. I mean, they've only played – Kevin Durant's played 90 games in 3 years. And Kyrie Irving, I think, has played like 65 or something like that in 3 years. Like, they're not on the court for you. They're unreliable. Like, and now you're just dealing with this mess. Get rid of them. Move on. Cut your loss. Move on, The NBA is the best soap opera ever. Me watching the NBA. It's like my grandma watching her telling novellas. Yeah, right? Hey, and this is real life. Like that's the thing that's even more mind-blowing is that like this is something that actually is happening in real time, which I think is absolutely amazing. But yeah, barometer because it depletes the team. It's draft capital, the future flexibility. KD has not proven he is a championship catalyst. Yeah. He hasn't. He hasn't proven anything but to be a guy that can't lead a team to a championship. That's all it is. He's that guy. Um, got a flash flood warning. Nice. Bro, if Brooklyn can keep KD with Simmons, Kyrie, Joe said, this team could easily go all the way. They could. Absolutely. They could. The problem is that Ben Simmons, is he even going to play? Kyrie, is he just going to sit out because he wants to be traded? He wants Steve Nash fired, and he wants Sean Marks fired, and he's upset that they didn't give him a max extension. KD, he wants to be traded. Does he really want to give 100% and potentially get injured, and now he's never getting traded? Does he even show up to training camp? Does he even play? Problem is that these players, they don't want to be there. They want Joe Tsai to fire the entire organization. You can't do that. You can't. Can't hear me. Everything says it's fine. Maybe it was like a little blip. Sometimes YouTube's live streams will glitch. They got better, no cap. Plus KD coming back. I don't think so, but I mean, hey, you never know. You never know. Come to Miami. Problem is, again, they don't have the assets to get that done. They just don't. It's just as much as Miami would be great with Kevin Durant. It's just what package are they gonna put together that's going to entice the Nets that like a team like Boston can't do? Like Tyler Hero is not better than Jaylen Brown, and Kyle Lowry is a terrible contract. Duncan Robinson is a terrible contract. If you can get Marcus Smart, you'd rather have Marcus Smart over both of those guys. I just think it's Boston or bust. I just think that what is Boston willing to give up to go get Kevin Durant? I think that's what this is going to ultimately come down to. If KD went to the best team in a regular season history, then he definitely wants to play in Boston. Yeah, exactly. That's my point. He doesn't care. He just wants to get out of Brooklyn. KD failed in Brooklyn. Kawhi has failed in LA. LeBron won a ring, and if he gets Kyrie, he might win another. These guys aren't on his level. Exactly, they aren't. Look, I give Kawhi credit for what he did in Toronto, but for being honest, the entire team had to fall apart for them to win. Otherwise, they weren't winning that. And so Kawhi would have failed in Toronto. He's failed so far with the Clippers. KD has failed everywhere but the Golden State Warriors, which that team was insanely stacked and nobody was beating them. Come on. Sadly got to go. I will cry now more than KD. Nah, not possible. Thanks for having me, Sports Decided. Enjoy all. Bye, everyone. See you later, Wayne. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you later. 3 years ago, they were comparing Kawhi to Jordan, and they were calling the Clippers the LA Bulls. Yes, I remember that. I remember the image of the comparison of the LA Bulls, and they're showing Paul George as Scottie Pippen. And come on, they all they've done is blown a 3-1 lead, get eliminated in the second round, and made one Western Conference. Would you rather be Kendrick Perkins or Ryan Hollins? According to Ryan Hollins, he's a better analyst than a basketball player. So maybe Ryan Hollins. Kendrick Perkins is just good television. Kendrick Perkins is a terrible analyst from an analytic perspective, but from an entertainment perspective, he is fantastic. That guy is great. Nets can get a better offer than Westbrook. For who? For Kyrie? Yeah, could they? Yes. But who's going to do it? Nobody wants Kyrie Irving. Nobody. There's a reason the Lakers are the only team that wants it. And look, if I'm being honest, Westbrook probably goes to a third team. But the Nets are going to have to decide, what do they want? Do they want the assets, or do they want Westbrook to go to another team? Because they're not going to be able to get both. So it's do you want 2 first-round picks, or do you want to trade Westbrook elsewhere? What do you want? You're more fun than Trevor Lane. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I like Trevor Lane. I watch Lakers Nation all the time. So shout outs to Trevor Lane. I mean, he probably doesn't even know who I am or care, but I do. I really like Trevor Lane. I think he's great. From who though? What other teams are trying to get? Exactly. That's my point. What are the Nets options? Who's lining up to the door to get Kyrie Irving for a year after this mess? It's not going to happen. hit that like button. Come on, NBA fans. Yes, please hit that like button if you haven't hit this like button, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Got 175 of you beautiful people in this stream. I'd really appreciate if you could all subscribe. Help me grow this channel even further. Let's continue to grow. We're at 4338. Can we get to like 4350? That would be awesome. Can we get to that? It's only 12 subscribers. So let's set some goals here. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I'm like, what are we on about KD to the Suns? My problem, like I for a long time thought he was going to the Suns. I really did. I really believed for a while that was going to end up happening. I just don't see it now because they can't trade DeAndre Ayton until January. And DeAndre Ayton has veto power for the rest of the year. So if he doesn't want to go to the Nets, like let's say he's like, no, I want to go to the Pacers. What do? You know, you're kind of stuck. So I don't know if they have enough right now, at least until January, to pull that off. But I mean, you never know. You never know. 80 is awful. Josiah paid him $38 million while he was rehabbing. Yeah. The Nets and Lakers situation are not even close to being comparable. Yeah, not even close. It's not. This is a league in and of itself. KD and Kyrie put the pressure on, and the way out is to trade them. They know even if they are different paths. Yeah, it's I mean that's the only real option you have now. You got to just cut your losses and move on. That's it. That's what you got to do. As much as it might suck, you got to get off of it. You do. I think he meant KD, but yeah, I knew what he meant based on the comments. But that's not KD's fault. He asked for a lot. They gave it to him. Then they let everything go, and they expect him to stay. That's why he gave him the ultimatum. So, I don't think the Nets organization isn't without fault. They absolutely are. I mean, in reality, if Sean Marks just gave Kyrie Irving the max extension, none of this probably would have happened. So, I mean, that's where this all lied. But this is a Kyrie and KD problem. This isn't just solely on the organization. They never should have given them everything that they wanted and everything that they asked for. I agree with that 100%. You basically created a monster, and now you got to live with it. And unfortunately, you got to cut your loss. Suns fans think Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges is enough for KD. That's the problem. That's why I don't think that's going to happen now. And maybe Johnson, Bridges, Ayton, and a handful of picks, then maybe. But it's just you can't do that until January the earliest. And I don't think the Nets are going to want to start training camp with Kyrie and KD. I see Kyrie is agreeing with KD that he hates the coach GM. Did you see this information? Yes, Stuart. I actually made a video. I believe it might have been on here. I'll tell you right now. I believe I made it on the Lakers channel. I made a video. Oh no, I made it here on this channel where it's Kyrie wants Sean Marks and Steve Nash gone as well. Yeah, and I even talked about how there was a report a while back that back in March, Kyrie told Steve Nash, was at his house for like a dinner or whatever, and basically told him like, "Can I see Kobe's MVPs?" and was just like disrespecting Steve Nash, just being really rude. I guarantee a lockout. So Garden of Whedon, I really think we're going to see a lockout too. I really do. I think that this is going to be an absolute mess, absolute mess. Once we get that new, when they start negotiating for the collective bargaining and all that, it's going to be really bad in a couple of years. I hate to break it to people. Yeah, it's not going to be all rainbows and butterflies. But yeah, I'm with you, Garden. KD is like a husband whose wife paid his way through med school. Then he dumps her when he graduates. Exactly, sweetie. You get it. Josiah's the go. I love Josiah's answer. I do. I respect the hell out of that because a lot of owners would have caved, maybe not fired everybody, but either would have not have said anything or would have just been like, we'll see. The fact that Josiah was like, nah, this is not how this is going to work. I respect that. I really do. Kyrie said he also doesn't like Steve Nash, Sean Marks, LOL, 3 hours ago posted. Yeah, Yeah, I made a video. I believe it was last night. Because the report came out like late last night. Oh no, I did post it today, but the report came out late last night. Um, Ice Trey is like Clyde Drexler in today's NBA, outshined by 6'7" superstars every year, which means he won't win any awards, but still a solid player. I mean, yeah, I can understand that. That's kind of my thinking too. Is that like he's likely never gonna be like a top 5 to 7 player in the league. Um, and so therefore he's probably never going to win any like individual accolades. I do think maybe he could win like a scoring title or something, but I don't think I don't think he's going to win an MVP. Unfortunately, I like Trey. People who think the Nets can't trade KD because it's KD, one series win in 3 years. They got swept by Boston. I'm pretty sure Sai expected championships with KD and Kyrie. They haven't delivered. Exactly. And do you still want to continue this headache when you're not getting any results? Like if they wanted, like let's say they won the championship this past year and this happened, I think Joe Tsai might be a lot more inclined to maybe cave a little bit because it's like, do I really want to break this team up? We just won a championship, like okay, let's change Steve Nash, but we're not changing Sean Marks, that kind of thing. Like let's run it back and see what happens. Like I could see that happening, but no, you just got swept with Kyrie and KD. Ben Simmons, you have no idea if he's even going to play. It's crazy. Pelinka had to say no to LeBron and AD. Russ destroyed the LeBron years. I mean, I do agree that he should have said no, but when your two superstars say, "Hey, get us this guy," you got to. I mean, every GM in the league would have done that. If LeBron and AD both came to you and said, "I want you to go get Westbrook," outside of like maybe Pat Riley, I don't think anybody would have said no. Like they always said, all right, if that's who you want. And and to be fair, if you looked at Russ the year before with the Wizards, I mean, he was like a 22, 11, and 11 guy for them. Like the guy was balling for the Wizards. So you're probably looking at that like, yeah, we could go get a triple-double guy to put next to LeBron and AD. LeBron's going to miss, 20 games plus. Like I understood why they did it. It just turned out to be a disaster. What's going on, Marcus? Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for hanging out. DeMar DeRozan could not have been a Laker since in order to get him, you would need to do a sign and trade with San Antonio, which would hard cap the Lakers. Yes, but there's always loopholes. There's always ways. It also depends on how much you would have wanted to free up space. It would have been tough, but they could have made it work. And then you could have also gotten like Buddy Hield. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, it's been over like a year now, but I believe that was the original idea. They would have gotten DeRozan and Hield at the same time, and then they would have like traded a couple assets. Like I said, I'd have to go back and look at what was proposed because I remember it was like they had a proposal, like a trade negotiation that was like worked. But DeRozan also said he would have taken a hometown discount to play with them. Would it have happened? Who knows? I mean, we'll never really know. I'm not saying it was for sure, but I mean, DeMar said he thought he was going to the Lakers. Lakers had a good free agency. People don't like giving Rob Pelinka credit. They like Snyder. Yeah, Rob Pelinka's done fine. He's been great. Like the video, peeps. Yes, please like this video. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. We're at 42, 42, or 43, 42. I'm sorry. My goal was 43.50. So we should blow past that. I only need 8 more subscribers. That would be awesome. But if we could blow past that, if we get to like 60, that'd be wonderful. And there's 160 of you beautiful people. So like this video, subscribe to the channel. Really does. Really helps out a lot. Believe me, you have no idea how much it helps. Pelicans got baby KD. Yes, they do. I don't know if he'll ever be as good, but that was always the comparison, right? Denver makes 0 sense for a KD deal. They are proceeding just like the franchise should, slowly and with patience. Yeah. They can't, like I said, I don't even think they could trade for KD, even if they wanted to. Like, even if like they were like, hey, let's go get KD, they don't have the guys to do it, and you can't trade Murray. So Pelicans aren't going to break up everything for KD. They want 3 starters and all your picks. Insane. Yeah, I mean the problem is that the Nets asking price is just way too high. Michael Porter Jr. has been hurt since middle school. He's a bust yet. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Brad Stevens said Jaylen Brown was never on the table for Kevin Durant. Brown only 25 All-Star and has a good 8 to 10 years at a high level. Durant maybe too. Well, we'll find out. We'll see. I mean, maybe you're right. We will. All we can do is just wait around and see. That's it. They have to drop the asking price for KD. It's stupid to ask so much. No team is going to become a rebuild team only to add KD. Exactly. They're not going to get what they want. They're not. Yes, that's correct. He's only played 90 games in 3 years. Rudy Gobert is so overrated. Durant played in his 30s last year, and Kyrie 29 games due to non-vaccination things. Yes. Come to Toronto. Come to the Toronto Raptors. Problem is they're not going to trade Scotty Barnes, and the only other option would be to trade OG and Siakam. And I don't think Scotty Barnes and KD are a contender. I just think it doesn't make sense. Ben Simmons, psychologist, is about to get paid to listen to all the Nets. Yeah. Seriously, he's about to get a nice paycheck for sure. What do we have? But they're racist in Boston. Yeah, according to LeBron. But Kevin Durant says LeBron's an idiot, right? That he's all drama and it's a big circus and no one wants to be around him. So we're 27-15 before KD's MCL sprain, and we're the 2 seed. That's very true. They were looking very solid. The Warriors won titles with Harrison Barnes and Andrew Wiggins. Come on, KD proved nothing except he can be a top scorer on a title contender. Yeah, I mean, look, they have absolutely proven that they do not need Kevin Durant. But like when I was talking about earlier, like Kevin Durant was in the best positions because it offered them that consistency. That guy, Steph had a bad night. KD is a guy that can sort of pick up that slack. It's just it was the cherry on top. You're a contender year in and year out. But if we get KD, you're basically guaranteed a championship. Like that was the difference. And KD he had the structure, he had the organizational, just structure, and he didn't have to be the guy. He had the leadership. He had everything. I think we should keep the group we sent to Washington for Westbrook, but I think Kyrie and the shooters for Westbrook and THT and 2 first-round picks fair. Irving upgrade makes us a contender. Yeah, I'm with you. I really do. I really think it does. I really do. What do you think will get Jay Crowder? Wonder what triggered him asking out. I think it's obvious last year that the Suns are slipping. Maybe writing is on the wall, in my opinion. So I had a hot take and said that I not that I don't think the Suns are a playoff team. They're absolutely a playoff team, but I think that they are going to regress a lot. And all the Suns fans told me I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. And yet we keep getting this news. Now we got the Jay Crowder thing and stuff like that. And look, Jay Crowder, I'm not saying he's, Devin Booker, but he's still a key piece. He's still important to that team. Still does a lot for that team. He was a vocal leader. He was a lot of things. And, that team just seems to be, there's something going on, especially with DeAndre Ayton. I mean, he basically quit on him in Game 7. He didn't, they wanted him to sub in. He refused to sub back in, all that. I mean, yeah, I think the Suns have a lot of things going on, a lot of issues that are, I think, going to really affect. Chris Paul is only getting older, stuff like that. As it stands, greater than Trevor Lane. Well, thank you. I really do. I really do appreciate it. But hey, Trevor Lane, I gotta give him his flowers. He's awesome, and I respect the hell out of him. He does. He has a great show over there. He really does. Hardball with Keanu and Gridiron Game with The Rock. I don't know. I probably got to go with my boy Keanu. I think Gridiron Game was, it was, but yeah, I'm going with my boy Keanu. Blue Chips with Nick Nolte. Yeah, Blue Chips is the way to go. That's it. KD and Kyrie's most spoiled NBA players in NBA history. Facts. Real quick to get back to this. If we're talking like sports movies, like my favorite movie, like sports movie ever, is White Men Can't Jump. I love that movie. That has always been like one of my favorite movies. And they're remaking it, which really upsets me. That's like a national treasure that you don't touch. But I've always loved White Men Can't Jump. It just, that's usually my go-to. Like if I want to watch a sports movie, but like I liked like Coach Carter. I thought was really good. Remember the Titans was really good. There's a lot of like really good sports movies, but White Men Can't Jump, I just think it has a little bit of everything. And Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, come on. That was the best duo ever. Um, but why are people talking about trading Kyrie? Kyrie opted in, and his relationship with the owner is good. And the owner tweeted Kyrie, "Why are we linking Kyrie to a KD trade request?" A lot to unpack here. So we don't know for sure if Kyrie is good with the relationship. There was a report from the New York Post that says he is. Two, Kyrie's leaving. He wants Sean Marks fired, and he wants Steve Nash fired, which Joe Tsai just said he's not going to do, or well, not just now, but yesterday. If you lose Kyrie, you lose him for nothing. Is Kyrie going to be okay there with Kevin Durant? I don't think so. Do you want, if you get a new team and you're putting this new thing together, do you want Kyrie to be a mess and do all the antics that he's done the last few years? Kyrie's gone. It's KD gets traded, Kyrie's gone. But we'll see. Who knows? Who knows? Um, there's a lot more to it than that, but that was the summarized version. Do you think Joe Rogan was right when he said there are so many people locked away for weed possession in America? So why should Brittany Griner be treated any different because she hoops? I don't think it's so much the weed possession. Like I don't want to talk about this too heavily just because it's turned into such a political thing, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, especially on the sports channel. But I don't think it's that. I think it's just the circumstances. If she got locked up in America for that, I think then that would be more of a valid thing. I think it's more of like the whole Russia situation and the amount and stuff like that. But yeah, I just think ultimately it's a fucked situation either way. Once the season starts, will you be doing post game analysis? Yes. So yeah, I definitely want to I want to do live streams. Like maybe we'll at when all is said and done, or there's games or something, or maybe we'll like highlight a game. Maybe I'll do like a community post and like we'll like vote on the game you want me to like watch and break down and stuff. On the Lakers channel though, I will yeah, after the Laker games, we'll definitely do a post game breakdown. We'll have those conversations. You'll get to see me upset at times when the Lakers are just played a terrible game. It'll be wonderful. It'll be great content, I assure you. For the football season, I want to do that here. Break down some of the games, especially games because I love betting football. So some of the games that I break down, you'll get to see me have an aneurysm when they lose. It'll be great. It's gonna be fun. I'm telling you. But yeah, we're definitely gonna do all kinds of stuff. Like I have a lot of things that like I want to do on this channel. Just right now, there's not really much other than like, hey, Katie and Kyrie. So it's kind of uh, uh, Kyrie really said that, bro. Let me see Kobe's MVPs. Apparently, I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know for sure. But based on reports, I mean, go watch the video. I pulled up I showed the report in the video. That Kyrie that's what Kyrie supposedly said to Steve Nash in his house while they were having dinner. But you made a video about Heat wanting Westbrook. You think they'll take him for Bam? No, they're not going to trade Bam. Basically, the Westbrook trade would be basically would be a reset button. So the Lakers wouldn't have to give up any draft picks. It would be Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and then Tyler Hero. So basically, the Lakers, like what they're getting out of the deal is Tyler Hero and some veterans to play with right now. Tyler Hero can hopefully be your third guy, can kind of be your scorer, and then if you're the Heat, you basically get a clean book wipe because that's the problem. Right now, they're locked into their team that they have right now for the next 4 years, and they're not a contender. But yeah, they're not trading Bam. They didn't even want to trade Bam for KD. So, Suns fans, please stop. I'm a huge Suns fan, but I'm sick of other Suns fans saying the Nets would accept Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges over Jaylen Brown package. Like at some point, you guys have to stop it. Zach Attack, I'm with you. Like it makes no sense now. Like I really thought when all of this started, I really thought Kevin Durant was going to Suns. I thought the Suns, because one, we didn't know the Jaylen Brown thing was the thing, but two, I was like Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, or you swap Ayton for Miles Turner. So I was like Bridges, Cam Johnson, Turner, and like 4 first-round picks. I think that's enough to get it done, right? You got enough young players for the future, this, that, and the other. But yeah, I mean the Suns are all but out of it. They can't trade Ayton until January, and he has veto power for the rest of the season. So he could just say, I don't want to go to the Nets, and there's the trade. That's it. I think the Lakers should go ahead and do the Pacers deal and then do the Nets deal if Kyrie doesn't pan out next year. he'll move on. Lakers will have plenty of cap space. The problem is if you can get Kyrie this year, you got to get it. You got to get Kyrie. Kyrie adds another layer to this team that you don't get with Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. As great as they would be, and I still think that they would be a very good team. Kyrie offers so much more from just like a scoring standpoint to just being able to take over games and impact standpoint, stuff like that. If you can get Kyrie, you can get Kyrie. And if it doesn't pan out, like I said, if you're the Lakers, you just move off of Kyrie, and there you go. Why would Nets offer Suns? I just don't think it's going to happen anymore. I think their chance has came and went. Zion looks like he's pregnant with KD. Dude, I think that weight clause is a trip. So like they have the weight clause, but the for those that don't know, the weight clause is for the Pelicans to be able to get out of that deal. So Zion gets hurt again and he balloons to like 350 pounds and he can't play, then they can just release him and he's gone. I would have loved to see that too. If Westbrook gets traded and bought out, where do you see him signing? So I actually did a video on my Lakers channel, As It Stands Lakers, which, by the way, everyone, if you're a Laker fan, I do have a link to that channel in the description of this live stream. Go over there and subscribe to that channel. I got some great Lakers content. All I do is talk about Lakers over there. We're here to talk about a little bit of everything. But in that video, I said, I think Westbrook goes to the Wizards. I think the Wizards make the most sense. One, Bradley Beal loved him. Wizards fans loved him. He would be welcome back. The Wizards could use a starting point guard because they don't really have a starting point guard. They got Monty Morris, who's not really, what you want from a starting point guard. And then they got one of the Wright brothers. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but they got him, which again, backup point guard, not a starting point guard. So I think Russ would be perfect there. Russ and Beal led that team to a playoffs, and they weren't that good then. They at least upgrade. I mean, they still got, Kuz, they got Kristaps Porzingis, you got Ryu, wherever you say his name. Like, you got a bunch of like solid pieces around that would make them so much better. So I think he goes to the Wizards. How long until the trade happens for either Kyrie and KD? I still think, if I'm being honest, it's going to take a while. I think we're probably at least another week out, at least a week out or so, because we still have a month until training camp. So I don't think the Nets are going to want to go into training camp. Even the Lakers gave Russell Westbrook trade like a soft, hard date soft date of training camp. That's kind of like the date everyone's kind of waiting for. So you're talking like the like last week of September or something like that, around there. We don't have an official date for media day yet, because usually training camp is the week after media day. So once we get a date for media date, then we'll know when training camp is. But you're at least a month away. So I think very likely we could still see this trade take maybe 2-3 weeks at the most before it actually happens. But I do think it'll happen sooner rather than later. But I think we're at least maybe a week away. That's just my guess. I mean, it could happen. Like, we could be on this live stream and we could get an announcement. Who knows? But that would be my guess. Kyrie is overrated. I don't think he is. I just think he has a lot going on. Like, basketball is his like least important thing to him. And so I just think that that's the problem. Because Kyrie is an amazing basketball player. He just cares about everything else over basketball. I wish we would have kept Ingram over Kuzma and signed Caruso the following year. I don't think we would have ended up with Westbrook if we went that route. Yeah, I mean, the problem is that like Ingram, he's great, but how would the fit have been? And would Ingram have turned into the guy he is right now? He did that because he was the number one guy on the Pelicans. Kuzma was the better fit. Ingram's the better player, but Kuzma was the better fit. But I mean, to be honest, we shouldn't have done the Westbrook route, period. But like I said, when your 2-star players come to you and say, hey, we want this guy, and you're able to do it, you do it. I understand. Love the fact that KD reiterated his request to be traded. Now we have content for another month. Exactly. We still got, like I said, from a content creator standpoint, this has been wonderful. Okay. As a content creator, I could not be more happy about all of this stuff. Little Giants or Angels in the outfield. That's a tough one. Angels in the Outfield, I think, is more of a classic, but I really like Little Giants. I really do. Like me personally, I would choose Little Giants, but I think most people would choose Angels in the Outfield. Um, Pride of the Yankees is the best sports movie. I don't think I've ever seen that one. I have to check that out. I'll give that a look. Is that the newer like documentary? Because wasn't there like a newer documentary like with like Jeter and all of that? Is that what that one is? Kyrie is not that good to be calling him for him to be fired. I mean, nobody's that good. I mean, come on. They just got swept. I don't believe in either category. Watch, you will all see. I do. I think he's gone. I think he's traded. Can we get a Lakers Celtics Christmas game? I think if these trades happen and KD goes to the Celtics and Kyrie goes to the Lakers, I wouldn't be shocked if they move that around. They switch that around. I really wouldn't. Yeah, I could see that being the case. What's going on? I appreciate you, Ryan. Hey, how are you? Hey, it's my birthday. Can I get a shout out? Happy birthday, Ice! Happy birthday. Let's see some happy birthdays to Ice in the chat. I love that. Happy birthday. Let's show some love in this community. Absolutely. Kobe deserves way more MVPs. Facts. That is 100% facts. Robbed of the defense player of the year. Yes. And he's been robbed of MVPs and everything. You know, I mean, the media gets that, you know, you get tired. When you're that great, media and fans, they get tired. Like LeBron should have a lot more MVPs. He should have a lot more accolades and stuff. It's just Shaq too, both he and Kobe only have one MVP. Exactly. It is. It's crazy. It just shows how biased they are. Man, I just looked at all the free agents still left in the NBA, and there's a lot of guys that would for with this Lakers team for the final roster spot if we can't make a move. Yeah, I mean, there are a handful of free agents still that we could definitely move. The entire NBA is just kind of on a standstill right now because of the whole KD and Mitchell and all that stuff. So I do imagine we'll see it sooner rather than later. Do you think that they will ever start penalizing floppers and whinings like Luka, or do you think the NBA doesn't care when players do that after every attempt? I mean, they've tried, but it's hard. It's like, how do you know what is real? How do you know, unless it's just like a blatantly clear, which they have fined players for that. But I don't think the NBA cares that much. What source are you using for Kyrie saying he doesn't like Steve Nash? What source asking for the MVP? This is fake news. Go watch the video. It's not fake news. Go look it up. Watch the video. Here, I'll give you the actual title. Here you go. Kyrie Irving wants Sean Marks and Steve Nash fired. Go watch that video. You'll see all the sources in the video. Orville. Talk about the show. Russ puts people in the seats. Washington would be nice for him. Westbrook isn't exactly washed. He still has that TD player in him. I would expect him to average one again. Yeah, I do. I really think Russ is going to ball out wherever he goes. I really do. I think wherever Russ ends up, he's going to be a guy that is going to just get right back to being that triple-double a game guy. I just think he's a really bad fit with the Lakers. I love Russ. I think he's still a great player. I just think he's in a bad situation. So based on the report by Shams, the Boston Celtics are the clear front runner as of right now. Now something could change, but yeah, Boston is the front runner. And that Shams report came out yesterday. Nets will never find out how good the core of Kyrie, Simmons, and Kevin Durant could have been. They won't. Problem is, it's like, how much better is it going to be than when Harden, Kyrie, and it just, I don't know. It's just, at this point, you got to move on. But no, I am with you, Ozzy. I don't buy that David Griffin would have done the AD trade without Ingram. I don't really think so either. Because, even back then, there were reports that it was either Ingram or Kuzma, but the Lakers wanted to keep Kuzma. And I understand why they kept Kuzma, just because he was the better fit. He didn't need the ball in his hands. He was able to be a catch and shoot, all that stuff. I just think that I think they made the right choice. It's just Ingram would have been nice. And who knows, maybe he could have developed in another way, but we won a championship out of it, so we can't be too upset, right? One thing I'll say is all of those Celtics versus Brooklyn games were pretty close. Brooklyn should have won at least two of those. I agree. They were. The big question was how bought in was Kevin Durant. It's just, yeah. Love seeing it. I appreciate you. Yeah, love seeing it. Happy birthday again, Ice. Really. Keen's looking like 838 and 44 playing team. Dude, I am really high on the Keens. I don't think that they're a contender or like they're going to be the fifth seed or anything like that, but I think they're going to be a really young, fun team to watch. Like I really do. I think that they're going to be a tough out night in and night out. I think that they're going to be a solid team. I do. I really like this Keens roster. I think that they're a play-in team for sure. I really do. Uh, the NBA hates our Lakers because all the players want to be Lakers. Exactly. They hate us because they ain't us. That's right. Where's KD going? My money's on Boston. Boston is now the favorites too. He said Boston is minus 175 in Vegas for him to go there. So he's even the betting favorite there. Based on the reports, the Boston Celtics are the leader of it. So my guess would be Boston Celtics. What else? I don't believe the Shams trying to saying that the plan is that Kyrie Irving a net next this year. Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, look, the Nets have to keep try to maintain whatever leverage they can, and they just got a terrible result. I think it just depends on what happens with KD. Like, what kind of package do you get? What kind of trade do you get? And do your new guys and Kyrie and everybody get? I don't see them trying to run it back. Because if you lose Kyrie, you get nothing back for him. You don't even get money to replace him. Do you really want to run the risk of him just being a disaster for this team? I just think it doesn't make sense. Would you give JB for Durant? I personally wouldn't. The Celtics were close last year, and they are already better with offseason moves. I mean, look, if Kevin Durant is a better player than JB for the long term, I think no. But you got to understand that they're looking at this. The Celtics are looking at it as like there's a real opportunity that we're going to lose Jaylen Brown because one, Jaylen Brown isn't going to sign an extension because he would make more money as a free agent than if he signed that extension. It's just the way that the rules work, which is silly. But so he's going to be a free agent. He wants to be the number one guy. He's proved that. Now he's in trade talks, and he's not happy about it because he tweeted about it. At this point, you almost have to trade Jaylen Brown. It's the same reason the Spurs traded DeJounte Murray. Like everyone was like, why did they trade DeJounte Murray? It's because he was in the same position that JB was, where he's not going to sign an extension. He's going to get more money if he is a free agent, and he's not going to stay because you're a rebuilding team, so you're going to lose him for nothing. So get what you can, free up the cap space. You're tanking regardless, so let's expedite this tanking, that kind of thing. We're not getting Kyrie. Stop making these false videos. None of your predictions have ever happened. None of my predictions have not happened. Like either way. So however you slice it, I haven't been wrong or right. Trade fate decided, sports decided, and Killjoy J for KD. Facts. Welcome back, Wayne. Trade that fate decided guy. That fate decided guys. Weirdo. You remember the pics of KD's dry Kango skin? The man is literally a cocoon. It's obvious he's not doing well. Yeah. I saw something there, like the memes were sparking back up after that. Who do you think is a good bet to win most improved this season, as from a player standpoint or a team standpoint? From a team standpoint, I wouldn't be shocked if it's the Memphis Grizzlies, or not the Memphis, sorry, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think Rudy Gobert makes them a contender, but I do think they'll be good enough to be like the maybe 3 or 4 seed. As for a player standpoint, that's tough. Depending on how healthy Zion is, I think Zion could win that because all he has is just to be better, most improved. Don't trade me. Hey, well, Killjoy Jake, you got to get yourself together. You're really slacking on this team. We only got so many options. Celtics is not worth the risk. It is. Yeah. Killjoy Jake loves sports now. So awesome. He is. He's a diehard. He's a Cleveland Browns fan. Put me in, coach. Lock in. I'm actually wrapping up this live stream. Otherwise, I would. I'd say, hey, come in, Jake. But yeah, I'm about to wrap up. I'm at the end of the stream. Took me a while to get caught up, but we're caught up. So I'm going to power through this and we're going to get out of here. Also, real quick, if you're not subscribe to the channel. We are four subscribers away from meeting my live stream goal. I need 4 of the 135 of you beautiful people to to click that subscribe button. And don't forget to like this video. Westbrook will win most improved. I mean, I don't. Can you though? I mean, he's been a notorious like triple double guy. Like, how much better could he be than the past seasons? But that would be kind of funny. Tyrese Maxey, Zion. Tyrese Maxey is another good one. Yeah, I mentioned Zion. I think Zion could do it. Tyrese Maxey is another good one, but does he hit that sophomore, junior wall? Realistically, are the Lakers in the Kyrie sweepstakes? I think so. I mean, this was huge news for the Lakers getting Kyrie. Is it possible that it won't happen? I mean, of course, there's always still that possibility. But, I mean, it's just, if they trade KD, there's no point to keep Kyrie. And the Lakers are the only team that wants Kyrie Irving. So if that happens, they're getting Kyrie Irving. Has been wrong before saying Dallas Mavericks Sixers are interested in. Oh yeah, no, Shams is wrong all the time. I love that how he reported that that Dallas and Philly wanted Kyrie Irving, and immediately both teams were like, absolutely not. Keep him as far away from us as possible. We do not want that guy anywhere near us. I love that. I thought that was great. Hi Jake, you were way more valuable and entertaining than Kitty. He is. That is true. Killjoy Jake is wonderful. He's a wonderful person. He is my bae. Harden will win most valuable beard. Yeah. He's got the beard game on lock. I have to give it to him. He does. Did I hear someone say Browns fan currently? I think Jake left the chat. So moment of silence for that person. Yes. I'm subscribed. Well, thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate it. And everybody that is subscribed. You're always putting out great videos. Seriously, I thank you. I really do. I thank you. But we're going to get out of here. I still, like I said, I need 2 subscribers. Can I see 2 subscribers before I get out of here? There's 120 of you people. We're at 43, 48. I want to get to 45. So I need 2 of you to subscribe. Obviously, if more of you aren't subscribed, subscribe. But if we could get at least 2, that'd be awesome. In the meantime, also, if you're a Laker fan and you're not subscribed, I know a lot of you are, but subscribe to my Lakers channel. Which is linked down in the description of this live stream. As it stands, Lakers, talk nothing but Lakers, have discussions over there, do live streams over there. I'll probably do a live stream later tonight over there as well. And then once the season starts, we'll do like post-game interviews, or not video interviews, but conversation stuff like that. Subscribe, Lakers channel, subscribe here, like I said. Don't forget to like this video. We got it. Thank you so much. We got to the 50 mark. I appreciate you all so very much. But yeah, subscribe to the channels. Look out for my videos. Do me a solid. If you like football in any capacity, or you just like hearing me talk sports, start watching some of my football videos. I really do want to expand into just football because I like football and I enjoy talking football. And I understand my audience is primarily basketball because that's kind of what I built this channel on, because that was all there was at the time. But yeah, if you could, please watch my football videos. It really does help me out. Even if you're not a big football fan, but you just want to help me out, play the videos when you're in the shower or something, do whatever you can. Don't forget to like that video. But I love all you faces. I appreciate all of you being in these live streams with me. You guys are all awesome. I will see you all in the next one.